Chris Cornell, live on 93
Oh.
XRT and
What are you doing up
93xrt.com. How are you? Nice to see you. Nearly Forgot My Broken Heart from Higher Truth. Congrats on the new record, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Higher Truth, that's a great title for this record.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like, are you when you perform solo and do songs like this, are you finding that higher truth? Is it are you getting closer to it? Is that
I'm not really sure. I think what I do when I tour, that's more escapism. It's like a weird way, you know, going out on stage and just playing songs where you get on this conveyor belt that sort of starts and lasts for about 2.5 hours, and nothing is going to stop it. Like there's no, if I broke my back, I would probably still go on there. I sort of believe the show must go on kind of thing. And there's something about that. It's like there's no way it will get interfered upon, and I don't plan really on anything, and so it's all kind of happening in the moment. And there's something about that it almost, I feel like it could replace drugs or something. I mean, it's like a therapy, kind of, maybe.
Yeah. Well, the songs in this record are really beautiful, and a different type of song that we're used to hearing from Chris Cornell. You know, we're used to Soundgarden and Audio Slave and some of your other solo records, but these songs are a little more delicate. The instrumentation is different. How did these songs come about?
Well, touring as an acoustic guy, you know, kind of doing an acoustic show for a couple years from 2010, I think, and I took it to, you know, around the U.S. a few times, South America, Australia, Europe, and I felt like I had written some songs in the past seasons, for example, and songs for films that were more of an acoustic arrangement. And felt like that was something that I do that people like, and I like to do it, and the touring kind of inspired me to want to write new material that was more or less comfortable in that element, that kind of starts from that element. And so that was the idea. And it's not something I was entirely new to, but once I got into it, then I really wanted to embrace it a little more, so I had to figure some things out in terms of writing the songs and making them all, you know, a body of songs, which ended up being like with extra songs like 15 or something. To make a body of songs, I had to I could sort of slip into old habits for a couple, and then I had to kind of reinvent what I was doing. So it was a bit of a challenge. It took about 2.5 years.
Your voice is so strong, you know, and you've sung over that, you know, harder rock music for so many years. Now, when you do these songs and when you perform live and when you perform like you're doing right now, do you rein your voice in at all? Do you make any adjustments on your voice for smaller venues?
I think there's something happens. I think there's an adjustment. It just kind of happens naturally. Mm-hmm. It's you know, I'm just singing to what's there. Right. If it's a loud, aggressive band, then I'm kind of singing to that. And so I guess it's sort of adjustments based on what I'm hearing come back.
You were talking about your other acoustic tours, and those were more like, well, they were called a songbook tour, so you were singing songs from throughout your past. What's it like going out and performing brand new songs that you haven't really performed before? Well,
they have to kind of find their way as live songs, you know, because it's different. And that takes a little while, I think. But I'm playing them kind of among songs from my entire career still, you know. I don't go out and cram the whole new album down the audience's throat. I kind of pepper the set list with them. And they're not like anything else, so it feels really good that they all kind of fit together. And if I'm playing a song from the new album, it's sort of adding to the set. It's like, you know, as opposed to kind of doing a job that's already done by songs I've already written and converted to an acoustic song. They're doing a different thing. So I feel like in that, I kind of reached the goal that I had.
We're talking to Chris Cornell on the Blue Cross Blue Shield performance stage here on XRT, and you're playing tonight at the Chicago Theater. The tour is going on. What's your band like for the tour?
Well, there's me, and then Brian comes out on some songs. And that's it.
So that's it. So it's a total solo show.
Everyone's already seen it.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
So how's the tour been going? I saw you did a great show in Seattle.
It's a disaster.
No, how's it feeling for you? I saw that you did a show in Seattle that looked like so much fun. Mike McCready came out and played with you, and
It's been great. It's been really fun.
yeah,
It's an evolution, and I think that was the whole point, was to make these tours a living thing, which means writing new songs and you know, not knowing what's going to happen, and let it be unpredictable and let it feel new, and you know, slowly but surely things are kind of evolving. Having Brian come out, he came out as a guest the first time in Atlanta, I don't know, 2011, I think, and he had done some arrangements to a couple songs that I really liked, so I had him out as a guest, and it was great, and he did that with me a couple more times when I would go through a town where Brian was, so I thought, why not have him come out this time? And so he's kind of playing on some of the songs that he did string arrangements for, one of the new songs that had a string arrangement on it already, and then we're just kind of making it up, the rest of it up as we go along.
well, that's cool. Well, people who are going to the show tonight are going to have a great time seeing it. And thank you for coming here today and being on the radio. Would you like to do another song for us?
Sure.
Okay, it's Chris. That's why you're here. It's Chris Cornell.
They
on
told me you
XXA.
wanted it.
Yeah, well, I still thought I'd be polite and ask you.
Oh, yeah. We have the tune for this one.
See, this is where you need patter. You need the between song patter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Go ahead.
Okay.
This is what you do. You're a
This
professional.
is what I do. I know, and it's nice to have you here. And last time you were here, it was more of a Soundgarden thing. What's going on with Soundgarden?
We're working on a new album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like how far along are you?
It's hard to say, but we're off and running.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's good.
Yeah. I'm kind of that way with everything, but Soundgarden's that way too. Like I never really know until I could say it's I got it. We're good. It's done.
Yeah.
But no, we're just in the writing process, but it's exciting, and we kind of started with we gave ourselves a break for a while, and then we kind of started with a bang, so it's good.
Well, gosh, you know, you guys have played together for so long. You know, there's a long history with that band, with big, huge breaks in it. What's it like when you come back together? Is it feel still pretty?
Well,
like-
now it's really good because we made it kind of a conscious effort to not have a calendar really, and you know, that was one of the things I think that we were always fighting with as a band. We started out as an indie band, and we wrote songs for like 3 years and didn't release anything. So the next few years after we started releasing things, we had songs, and we'd been working a lot, and we were pretty prolific. And then we got into the kind of treadmill that you got into back then, and I think it sort of still exists, but it definitely did in the 90s, which was write an album, record it, promote it, tour, write an album, record it, promote it, tour, that kind of thing. And so we were like having management meetings where we were basically planning promotion for and a tour and tour packages for albums we hadn't even written the songs for yet. And that we just didn't work well like that. And so the fact that we don't do that now, it doesn't make us slower or faster. It's kind of the same. We're just in a better mood about it all the time.
Well, when you came back to Chicago last time, you played at Lollapalooza. That's a show a lot of us will never forget. It was quite a comeback and quite a way to welcome you back, and it was just a pretty incredible show. That was one of the first shows of you guys playing together.
That was our
wasn't
second show, I think, or maybe our third. I think we played at the theater here the day before, and before that we played another small show in Seattle. So that was, and those were kind of warm-ups to play Lollapalooza, which, you know, it was pretty, it was exciting. It was just exciting to see the poster. That was what hit me the most, was to see the year 2010 and have it say Soundgarden, and it's a show poster. I thought that was pretty amazing, because I don't think any of us really planned on that. We didn't think that was going to happen.
That's when you knew it was real. Wow, I'm on the poster.
Well, yeah, it was exciting. It was real. It's like that. Now it's history. It's part of what we've done, as opposed to what we're thinking about maybe doing.
Well, thanks.
All right.
Okay. Chris Cornell on XRT, by the way.
Thank you.
Chris Cornell on XRT. Well, that was a nice segue from our conversation into the song. That was nice. For those of you listening on the radio, we're going to bid adieu to you, but if you'd like to watch the rest of this performance, you can go to 93xrt.com. You are listening to 93XRT. All right. So back to the album Higher Truth, produced by Brendan O'Brien. You've worked with him before, like going way back to the like Super Unknown, right? He
mixed Super Unknown, and then he produced the third Audioslave album, Revelations. And I had a really good experience with that record, that album. I mean, I think he did an amazing job also on Super Unknown, but that's mixing is a different thing. Sure. On Revelations, especially his way of recording vocals, like I tend to produce my own. I engineer it myself most of the time, and I've done that since Super Unknown, really. And on Revelations, he's fast. He really just wants a couple takes. He records it really well. It sounds great, but because you do it so quickly, it always has a live feel to it. You know, it doesn't become overdone. And I feel like as a listener, I don't really tend to connect with songs when it feels sort of poured over. You know, if I don't hear like the human behind it, then I sort of lose interest. And so those combination of things, plus he's also a really brilliant musician. All of those things seemed like great reasons to choose him. And then we had a really good time. It was just he and I in the studio with an engineer, and I'd come in and play a song on acoustic, and then he'd play bass over it, and then I'd sing it, and then we would just kind of start adding things, and sometimes subtracting some of the things we added, just depending on what it was, and then we move on to another song, and we kind of did that every day.
So the songs on the record, are they mostly new, or some of them been around for a while? Are there songs
They're all pretty much new.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
In the last couple of years. I did a lot of touring. I toured myself as well as Soundgarden tours in the middle of the writing period for that album, so there were a lot of breaks involved, and so that made it a couple-year process. But I think it was also good to take time off and then be able to look back at it, you know, with fresh ears, and then have new ideas about what the songs meant to me. It was good.
Yeah, well, congrats on it, man.
Thank you.
It's really a nice record, and it's so cool that you were able to come here today. Because I know a busy day, big show tonight and all that, and just to walk over here and play some songs, we're really appreciative, so thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, it's Chris Cornell.